Hello, my name is Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and it's 5 a.m. on Saturday in London and 6 a.m. on Saturday in Germany. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Thanks so much for joining us.
Tonight's guest is Sarah Treadwell, aka Space Case Sarah, joining us live from Illinois.
Yay! Yay!
We'll be back in 6.8 seconds.
So Sarah and I spoke a little bit yesterday, and she has quite a story. Sarah, how about tell us how your interest in space exploration got started and what you're doing now and where you're going with it?
Yeah. I have a really unconventional path into science and science communication. I started with getting into astronomy, and I got a telescope. That was truly actually my very first start, was just getting a telescope and getting outside. But I didn't really fall in love with science until I kind of, on a whim, watched Cosmos. And I just was just smitten. There were so many things I didn't know. And my brain just was like, oh my gosh, I need to learn everything. Yay! And it's just been kind of a journey ever since then. But at the time, I just was doing it just as an enthusiast. I didn't think I was going to be able to pursue it professionally because my bachelor's degree is in English and communications. So I loved science, but I just thought it was, something I could just kind of learn about, but never professionally pursue. And during my copious amounts of just cramming as much science as I could, I learned about astrobiology. And that was really oh my gosh, in another life, I would have loved to do this. And I actually got into a very scary car accident. And that was my snap moment where I was like, what other life do I have to do what I want to do? And it was the next day I was making phone calls to figure out how I could get into astrobiology. I didn't know at the time that science communication was a thing, really. I just kind of thought it was things that like Neil did or Bill did. And I kind of stumbled into it later. But that's kind of the short version of how I got into all of this. But
all right. And just to say hi to some folks who joined us. Hi, Cliff, and thanks for being here. Yeah, Cosmos was a huge inspiration for a lot of us.
A lot of people. Funny. And Carl is my personal hero. I mean, I tell anyone I meet, you will never compete with Carl. I love Carl more than any human on planet Earth. So, sorry.
Yeah, he's an amazing influence on all kinds of us. Yeah. And of course, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and that's the Cosmos you started with.
Yeah. That was the one I saw. I became more familiar with Carl's version later. And then I really began to appreciate how many nods to Carl are in the reboot of the Cosmos series, especially, even in the opening credits, you have the Voyager, and then, it starts with the dandelion. Sorry, my mind is blanking. But it transitions from that, and that's from the original Cosmos. So there's so many nods to Carl in every episode. I just love it. So
right, very cool. Yeah, well, and your background is kind of strange to begin with. I mean, I don't know too many people who came from where you were and have gone so far with what you're doing, and fabulous.
Which is why I think I'm really good at what I do, because I am genuinely thrilled with everything that I learn. Yes, I came from a very conservative, fundamental Christian background that was young Earth creationists, and we were very discouraged in getting into science. And we were told that NASA was a waste of money and time because they were looking for answers we already had. And so I genuinely I did not care for science. I didn't care for religion. I didn't care for politics. When I got kicked out. When I got kicked out, I just kind of held everything at an arm's length. And so that's what makes it so exciting to me now, because I learn things all the time that I'm like, wait, what? My mind is significantly blown every single day. And it's so much fun. And then I just have to turn around and go tell somebody else. And that's where my communications background, it's like this perfect fit of like nerdy love science. And then I also really like to talk. So
very cool. Well, you're like into a lot of things right now.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, how you got into it, what you really want to do, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I like I said, I didn't have a science background, and it was actually COVID was starting to go down. And I had just gone back to school thinking I was going to go back to school for my master's in biology. And then everything's getting pulled online, everything's getting canceled. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to lose this momentum. And someone had suggested to me to apply for an internship with Blue Marble Space Institute of Science. And that was something that I was like, well, I don't really know if I qualify, but you know, and so there was an opportunity to do science communication for the organization, and I applied and I got in, and it's been just bam, 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 bam ever since. So now I help with Blue Marble. I help produce Ask an Astrobiologist, which airs on NASA TV, and I help with editing pieces for the interns now. And I also, I guess my big one, I have a radio show. I have a Space Talk radio show now. I'm actually wearing my shirt for iRock Space Radio. It's just been one thing after the other. I just get asked to network and meet people, and just all these opportunities just kind of keep opening up. And this is sort of my big one right now is my Cosmic Waves with Space Case Sarah, which is going to be on iRock Space Radio, which is available through iHeartRadio. We're very excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome. And just a shout out to some more people that showed up with it. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Seth. Thanks, Cliff. Yeah, the music. I presume you're talking about for Cosmos.
Okay.
Yeah. Just wonderful stuff.
Well,
I love all that.
Sagan was a good communicator.
Yeah.
And was part of the communication. So he
Yeah.
really went for the emotional music in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and that's right. The argument that we should have the A in STEM, we should have STEAM, because we need that. We need that emotional pull to get people to care. I'm in a group called the Round Table, and we talk about the overview effect all the time. And how do we convey the overview effect in a way that people will care? And many of us land on music and art and that human expression to get people to understand, you know, on an emotional level, why you should care. And often you can't quite tie in concepts that are so big without pulling in emotion. And music is just such a powerful medium to pull emotion. Yeah. Which I'm saying also, as I started, my first major was a music major. So I went from music to English to like, who knows what I'm doing now, but
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why not? I mean, just having various disciplines, you know, you can cross over where other people wouldn't even see the connections.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There was a great thing I talked about. We talked about the other day, Globe at Night, and they had a nice little video. And they were saying, well, what if like Vincent van Gogh couldn't see the stars? We wouldn't have the wonderful Starry Night painting. And, you know, it's very important to find out what's happening where. So they have like, I think it's a 10-day span, and it's very simple. You go out, you can actually point your smart device at the sky, and
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and anybody anywhere in the world can participate. So that's the kind of thing we talk about here at Everyday Spacer. We've delved into a lot of citizen science projects.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some really amazing and cool things you can do. Like just go and do it. You know, there's very little, you know, entrance. There's very little hurdle to getting involved. Let me show you your website real quick. I forgot to do it before. So that is how. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's me. That's me.
Yeah. So if you wanted to check out Sarah some more, and
you can find all the various things that I do. I do a lot, but yeah,
hi, Michael.
I don't know how people ask me often, they're like, how do you do all this? And I'm like, I don't know. Not all at once. So
yeah, life is short, but it can be broad. I've
yes.
done some studying like that. So so it sounds like we've kind of covered the things you're involved with. Tell us more about where you see it going for yourself.
Whew, that's a tough one because this has been the wildest ride. I mean, this past year in particular has just been, I did not see that coming. In mostly a very good way. What I really see a place for myself though, moving forward into the very blossoming industry of the private space sector, because we're, you know, it's really starting to become its own enterprise, you know, especially with having Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic do their first launches recently. My radio station is designed for like space tourism. That's what the goal of this station is to be a radio station you would hear going up on Virgin Galactic. So I mean, if, you know, NASA wants to call me up and give me a communications job, I'm not going to say no, but, you know,
There you go.
I am actually looking seriously more now, again, re-exploring, looking at getting my master's, but maybe catering it more to science communication. And, yeah, just kind of taking it one step at a time. I think that my special ticket in this world is my enthusiasm and excitement for all the cool things that are happening, and I just like to turn around and share. That's truly where it even started with when I got my first telescope. And it's simple as it sounds. I looked at the moon and I basically went, oh, I need to find someone to show this to. You know, like it was like
you were talking about tell everybody about the Halloween.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I love that. Like, I gotta do
that. Yeah, two, maybe it was 3 now. I can't remember. Years ago, the moon was just wonderful on Halloween night, and so my neighborhood gets tons of trick or treaters, and I made it a thing. I pulled out my telescope and I said, "You can get a piece of candy, but you got to look at the moon first." And I had hundreds of kids and their parents look at the moon, and it was just so funny. I mean, these kids were just. And, you know, some of them would have their parents driving along and they would be like, Mom, get out of the car. Come here and look at the moon. You know, it was just amazing. I'm a solar system ambassador too. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I'm a NASA JPL solar system ambassador as well. And I just did an outreach the other day. And it was at a park district, and there happened to be a lot of soccer games kind of wrapping up. And so I had tons of kids come and look. And it's just, it just grounds me, and it takes me right back to that square one spot, right? Showing people the moon. Like that's what I did. And, you know, these kids, either they're, or they're just silent. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, cause I don't know. It's just, you can't, somebody said the moon was orange. The moon has been orange because of so many wildfires right now. So the sun, you know, is a very hazy orangish color, and it's reflecting off the moon.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening, Cliff. Do you have anything going on yours?
Or is it maybe my mic is picking it up? I can turn my mic.
We'll try and work on it, Cliff. Sorry about that.
You shouldn't. It could be me. Sorry, guys.
I'll just let you talk more.
I can just unplug this mic too. Maybe hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. Hold on.
You know it's live when. I love it. Well, that seems a little bit better. Cliff, tell us what you.
Well, I can't hear Sarah at all now.
Oh, is that? Did we lose you, Sarah?
Let's try this. Is that better?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
And I don't think.
Audience, give us feedback. I don't need that. This was just to look cool, you guys. I'm not that cool.
Yeah, are we echoing still?
Yeah, Cliff, let us know. I don't hear it as much, but Cliff's one of our friends in Australia, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
okay. It was probably my mic. I'm sorry. Like I said,
that's okay.
That's good to know. Yeah.
We're all figuring all this out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to pick up background noise, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh, hey, David, thanks for joining us. Let's see.
Okay.
Can't read from here.
Average young Australian is fully for space and its future. Do you find? That's a good question. That's a great question.
It is.
I think I mean, generally when I do outreach, I mean, kids love space. I have yet to meet a child that isn't excited about space to some degree. So I'm a millennial. I will say that I have found a lot of other millennials don't seem to be quite as interested. But that also could just be kind of the sphere of people that I'm often around. Well, no, that's not fair to say either, because I know a ton of space people. I don't know. It's interesting. And this kind of leads into Cliff's question here. What do I think about the new space tourism opening up? I love it. I am 100% for it. And something that, I think seems to be getting in the way of support is that it's a perceived billionaire space race, right?
Yep.
And that's just getting stuck. And the media is really kind of running with it because I think they're very familiar with the space race concept that we had from the Apollo era. I don't see it as a space race in the terms of somebody's beating somebody else to space, because there's been plenty of people to space, right? They're just number 500 something of people who've been to space. Something that I think is interesting that was pointed out to me is I think that it's very advantageous to us, because when you look at when government programs are the only ones that are sending people up to space, they go with the lowest contract bidders.
Yep.
So you're getting, the cheapest way it can be done. Whereas you have these billionaires who can be like, I want to do it the best way it can be done, and they can afford to do it. So, and
they have customer service in mind as well, not just,
Right. Yeah. But I mean, and it's, love them, hate them, but, Elon can go launch rockets, have a mistake, and they blow up, and he can just go build them again. Whereas, that's not in the budget for NASA. So,
right. Well, Elon's playing Kerbal Space Program Elite.
Yeah. I'm a fan, and I think, with all big picture changes, and, you think about airplanes and how that was for the elite initially, it'll eventually even out. The market will make it less of billionaires. Sorry, I'm seeing all these questions pop up, and I'm like, am I aware that the Australia space industry? I don't think I did.
Yeah, it's fairly new blooming kind of thing. And thanks, David, for mentioning that. Really appreciate that. Because we're not in Australia. We don't know the way you know what's happening, and that's why we need you here to come and talk to us about it. So we're catching up. Yes, yay! Please do.
Your season's all messed up, though. We don't get it. Yeah.
And that moon thing, seeing it upside down, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So I have 3 different sizes of Dobsonians, and I'm so used to seeing the moon upside down. I'll flip it right side up for when I post it on social media. But even when I flip it right side up now, I'm like, that looks weird. And then I've had people, in the Southern Hemisphere be like, that's normal. Like, just keep it upside down. That's normal for me. And yes, go Wally. Yes. Oh, I was so happy for her.
What do you mean, Cliff? Wally, what do you mean?
So Wally, yeah.
Oh,
Wally. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Finally.
Wally, and then there was like some billionaire that went up with her, but I don't remember. But it was Wally's flight.
And then the kids, so the youngest and the oldest, and one of the richest guys. That's a hell of a flight, man. So what we need to give some publicity to.
I don't know what somebody asked about the moon landing. I don't bump into many moon landing deniers personally nowadays, but I know they're out there still.
Oh yeah, I see them. And so, Sarah, I wanted to tell you about JPL because we actually live very close to JPL, and we have been there a number of times, live and really in person. And then with the whole shutdown of everything, they created this virtual track. You can actually, walk through it almost exactly the same as being there live. And they take you behind the clean room and you can see the light. Oh yeah, it's really fun. We did a whole let's see, we had a series of shows because we had watched as they built Mars 2020, which became Perseverance. So we did like a show about going there and seeing that and watching the progression. And then we did the new JPL virtual tour thing, which is just fantastic. And we talked about the things that were a little different about it. So definitely want to make sure you get that link. So
definitely.
Check it out. And if you ever get here, make sure and let us know, and we'll work on getting a tour there. Because
my gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I know some people who work there too. So
I would love that. Yeah, I think that goes to the conversation we were having pre-show actually about how COVID. There's some pros and some cons, and some of the pros would be something like that, where they upped the virtual game, and I've heard people talk about, how do we give people the experience of the overview effect, and people have said, well, like virtual reality goggles are, a very immersive thing. So by having all of us kind of have to be behind screens, it really pushes innovation, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. So, that I see, silver linings to that. But yes, I would love to take a tour. One of my nerdy ambitions is to see the Mars yard, things like that. So I love Perseverance. I have the logo tattooed here too. So
very cool. Yeah, the Mars yard. That's over there too. That's so if you come out, make sure and let us know.
That would be awesome. That would be so cool. Yeah, I'll have to give Australia a shout out.
Yes, very cool.
I'm refraining from any shrimp on the Barbie comments right now. I'm David. I'm just letting you know.
So, teens have a big interest in space. Oh, that's very interesting. And I wonder why too, David.
I'm wondering if I don't know what the skies are like in Australia. I guess I'm not super familiar. At least in my area, I live east of the Mississippi River, which is notorious for light pollution. I mean, I can see planets and the moon. That's about it. And I don't even live that close to Chicago. If you're getting into Chicago, you're you can't see really anything other than planets and the moon. So it's pretty bad. So I'm wondering if maybe there's better night sky viewing too. But are there any scale? They're permanently installed in immersive reality. There is a program. Oh,
is he thinking of? Are you thinking of what is that? The sim.
The VR kind of stuff, probably. I know there's solar system program that I don't know. I have to look it up again. A friend of mine suggested it. It's a huge program. You can fly around the universe.
Oh wow!
And you need a pretty big processing computer to be able to run it. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. Sorry. I'm also called Space Case Sarah for a reason.
You know what? This will be on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page. So come by if you don't mind and see if anybody has more questions. And also, if you remember that, give us a link so we can all see it. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, light pollution is such a problem. People don't realize how much it affects so much of the, it just sort of slipped away and nobody was really paying attention that all of a sudden, we can't see anything.
and then I see everybody gets so excited about the globe, with all these lights, and you can like see city, junctions and stuff. And I'm like, man, that's just like throwing a soda can out the window while you're driving. It is just wasted.
Yeah.
It is seriously wasted. It's going into space because you're not using it on Earth, which is
Right.
where you want it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Distressing.
It is, and unless there's enough interest, you think of, was it Tucson is a protected
Yes.
city, because there's nice observatories there, right? So there's a vested interest to protect those night skies.
No, Flagstaff. Flagstaff is the one that has
also, yes.
ordinance. Oh, I don't know about Tucson. Flagstaff has ordinance near the observatory there that everyone has to have lights that are shielded and pointed down.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, if you build an observatory and then everybody builds up around it and you no longer have the benefit of the observatory, it's kind of a waste too. And thanks, Dan, for joining us. What do we have here? Cliff got a new VR. Okay.
Yeah. Cliff,
VR
good luck on that video card. In the short term.
Okay.
But yeah, VR headsets can range in huge different levels of price points. I have one that you pop your phone into it, and then you can go find like YouTube videos that are VR friendly, and that's what I use because I'm cheap. I know there's better ones.
If it works.
It does for now. But then yes, you're at the mercy of whatever other people design. So, but my kids love watching like dinosaur VR.
Oh, neat. Well, I think VR, virtual reality, just strictly where it's like what you see, is going to be kind of hard because I remember we go to IEEE meetings and they had one there and you just really couldn't move anywhere. You could move around, but to actually like walk around was very disorienting, I thought, because you can't see where you are. But I think augmented reality, because I think it'd be awesome to be on a plane and the window of the plane talks to you about what you can see out the window, what's there, what's,
Yeah.
Oh, be nice, David.
What's he saying?
Dave says Queenslanders are still using valve radios.
Wait, are we Queenslanders? Is that us?
No.
That's David.
Like, we did.
Oh, yeah, Cliff. Yeah, right.
We abolished the monarchy here.
This is our weekly fight between Cliff and Dave.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I'm here for it.
They're actually really good friends.
Yeah, they're very good friends.
I'm here for it.
They came here in 2017 for the total solar eclipse and reached out and said, we had someone to help us near LA, and then they had a family emergency. Could you help us? And I said, yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And another one of those are coming up sooner than later, faster than you would expect. And I have the trajectory plotted out, and actually it hits the bottom of Illinois again. And I'm like, do I want to try?
Nice.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's not too early to get ready for 2024. Mm-hmm. April 2024, that's the next big one in the United States. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So anybody else have any questions? Anything else you want to share with us, Sarah? I think it's fabulous that you have, overcome so much and you figure out what you really want to do and you're excited about it. I mean, what a great way to demonstrate to people what the possibilities are.
Exactly. Really? That's honestly, if you go to my website and you go to my About Me, it is, that's what I say is I want to be an inspiration to people to realize that you can always start pursuing your dreams, no matter how old you are, or, I'm a single mom of 2 kids, and I'm going for this, and, and if you have the passion for it, it's infectious. And to me, I don't see anything more worthy of being excited about, right? Space.
Oh, totally.
and space exploration and the the beauty and the mystery of the cosmos. And this is why I have perseverance tattooed on me. Astrobiology, are we alone? There is no bigger question than that, right? Are we alone? And I think that, if you love something a lot, it works out well for you, right? So hopefully, But yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I've been at this since 1991, and it just drives me. I mean, I feel sorry for people who don't understand who they are, what they're into, what they love. I try really hard to help them figure that out, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be base stuff. What I miss.
Right. He said love you. Thank you. I agree. Like I think that life is short. I don't recommend people getting into a car accident. But having that moment of like, whoa, that could have been it is super, it's super eye-opening. And I kind of I didn't come up with this. There's a science channel called Kurzakat. I don't know if you ever watched any of their videos. They're very animated, but they're great.
Yeah.
And they have an episode called Optimistic Nihilism, and it's a philosophy, if you will, of just remembering that life is short, which kind of sucks, right? But life is short, and no one really is thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. So go do what you want, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I miss? What did Dan have to say?
Oh.
That's where, yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and the ticket for me is I used to get in trouble for talking too much as a kid. So now I get to do it all the time. Which is so great. So I get to like talk about something I love. It just doesn't almost feel real half the time now. It's just like, wait, you guys, you want me to talk? Oh, sure. I'll tell you about that. My joke is too, I like to learn like things about, quantum physics just to like mess with people's mind. Like, so I'm like the dinner party guest you really want, because I want to give you an existential crisis. That's my goal. I want you to leave that dinner party worried about your existence in this dimension. That's my goal. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for the comment, Cliff. We love you too. Really appreciate that. So at this stage of the show, we tend to tell you about things that you can see in the night sky this week. That's July 23rd through 30th. And Sarah, absolutely, if you have something to say, chime in too.
No,
Clubhouse.
It's
all right.
your show.
That's okay.
I am on the Clubhouse app. I don't use it that much, but yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't really used it either. Oh, and someone new. Thanks for joining us. Science Actually, Quantum Physics
Dinner Party. Yes. Yes, Benjamin.
Oh, you know who that is. Okay, great.
I do, yes. Do you want to, if you're not in the corner rocking yourself to soothe yourself, I have not done my job.
Got it. Okay. So I'll just run through them real quick. July 23rd is the full buck moon, and some people have already commented on that. Thanks so much. And Pluto and the moon are in conjunction. So you want to look for the moon as it rises in the east around sunset. It's typically visible naked eye, and if there's good weather. Pluto, however, it could be pretty hard with this full moon, and usually it would require optical aid anyway. On the 24th, Saturn and the moon are in conjunction. Look east about an hour after sunset. Does that make sense? No. Yes. Yeah, an hour after sunset. Yes. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Jeff's been really sick, and I kind of just pulled this together right before the show because I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do this last night. Saturn and the moon are both easily seen naked eye, and it's National Thermal Engineer Day as well as National Amelia Earhart Day. On the 25th, yeah, isn't that great?
That's fun.
So 25th, Jupiter and the moon are in conjunction. You want to look east about 2 hours after sunset. They are both, hi Tex. Oh, you joined us to say you can't join us. Okay. Catch us on the replay. No problem. Look east about 2 hours after sunset. Jupiter and the moon are both easily seen naked eye. And yeah, that's another one. Jupiter, we were talking yesterday. Jupiter, Saturn, the moon, those are all really terrific objects to share with people in a sidewalk astronomy.
Yeah, sidewalk astronomy. That I always do it in the order of Jupiter. You point out the moons, Saturn to show the rings, and then end with the moon because it's so close and it's such a showstopper. But then what's kind of fun is if people linger long enough, you can show them Jupiter again, and the moons might have moved a little bit if they've been there long enough, So then you'd be like, oh, did you, notice how they've changed position slightly? And, because I don't know if you've ever had this happen too. I've genuinely had people be like, is that really real? Am I really looking at,
Oh
at
yeah.
this? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's real. Like I'm not
Is that a
putting,
sticker on the?
I'm not putting a picture in my telescope. Like,
No.
no, that's the real thing. And so when they can see that movement of the planets, that's super, or not the planets, I'm sorry, the moons of Jupiter, that's super cool. Yeah, I actually, this is, I should put it on like my CV, honestly. I went camping. I'm a big camping enthusiast, outdoor enthusiast in general. And it was when Mars was in opposition, and I kind of just felt obligated, like I should probably take a telescope while I'm camping, just because, like I should, because it's the moment. And this is when Percy went and launched, everybody was launching at that time too. And the best viewing though was someone across the road from me at a different campsite, and I was like, hey, can I set up my telescope in your campsite and I'll let you look at things? And they were like, yeah. And so it turns out this guy had been carrying around a ring for a while, waiting for the right moment to propose. And I moved them so much by showing them stuff in the night sky. He proposed that night. And so and they even invited me to the wedding later. And I feel like I need to put that on my resume. Like, that night sky tours, I can inspire a proposal.
I love it. One of the things I watch for though is if it's gonna set soon. So
okay.
I definitely show off that one first.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna lose the planet,
Right.
might as well start there and watch
Right.
them.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Which in
Yeah,
the summer you don't usually have to worry too much about Jupiter and Saturn, but yeah.
So I just have a couple more here because we have a meteor shower coming up, actually.
We do.
Yeah. So I have July 27th, Neptune and the moon are in conjunction. That's looking east after about 4 hours after sunset. Moon, easy to see. Neptune requires optical aid. And then we get to the meteor shower, July 29th. It's the Delta Aquarius. That's the range is July 12th to August 23rd. I'm so sorry. The peak is July 29th into the 30th after midnight, and these will emanate from Aquarius. They're pretty low grade though. It's 10 to 20 an hour, and this comes from the 96P/Mach-Holtz comet. Now, there's a pretty big moon still that night, and it might interfere with this meteor shower because it does rise pretty late and stays in the sky for the rest of the night. But yeah, there is a meteor shower. I think that the one next month will be a little more opportune as far as the moon goes. And of course, Perseids, lots and lots usually. So, and then we're back to July 30th with our Friday night show. Find us on Everyday Spacer, the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. And I actually have a guest lined up for next Friday too. And we just wrap it up like this. If you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we would love to share it live. Join us again next Friday, July 30th, with guest Grant Blaisdell, and he's a finance guy. This should be really interesting. And we do have a couple of other people we're in talks with. Valerie Stimek, Bailey, Chelsea Gould, and Don Dowdy, who is my ex-fiance. That should be really exciting.
I love Chelsea, by the way.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, she's really interesting. We just have to work out the details at this point. So
yeah, I hope you get all those people on. Super, super exciting.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So and and I think we could certainly have you back sometime. We've had a number of people on, and we always invite them back because things change.
Yeah. Well, so my show should be starting in August. So it hasn't aired yet. Our promotional stuff just got produced and will be dropping soon. And it should be airing starting in August, and it will be on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific time, I think. Nope. Yep. I should know that. So I live in Central, but they produce it out in Pacific. So I think they meant Pacific when they said that time. I'll double check that.
Be sure and tell us because we can cross promote for you, no problem. And I'm going to put your website up again. Are you going to have all that on spacecasesarah.com?
Yeah. So if you go to spacecasesarah.com, the the first thing you're going to hit is my Cosmic Waves with Space Case Sarah. I have links to iRock Space Radio. I have the radio station embedded on my website. And it is an exciting, really exciting new endeavor for me. So as many people as I can get to listen to this, the happier my producers will be. So please tune in. And I do it with my co-host, Galaxic Gal, Inara Tabir. So we have sort of a good balance of, I'm really bubbly and outgoing and kind of silly. And then she's got this more pragmatic, like practical, like, let me tell you the facts kind of personality. So we're hoping that, you know, between our two networks, we can really get this radio station a lot of attention. So
awesome. And, you know, part of the Everyday Spacer mission too is to help organizations like you and get whatever we can do to help. So
yeah, and that's the thing I love about the space industry and working in this, just what I see is just this blossoming field of opportunity. It's when you really remove the mindset of competition and rather it's like, and there's plenty of opportunity for everyone. It just sort of opens your doors to just, there's so much out there for all of us. And as Inara would say, we're in an open space era now where space is becoming open for business for everyone or accessible for everyone. And I really feel that way too. I just kind of feel like the sky is the limit. That's kind of a pun right there, right?
It's not even the limit.
The sky isn't even the limit anymore. It's, probably
no,
Mars.
and I remember for years there, it's what I call the doldrums. Everybody was just like, oh, and they would show these slides, and at the very end it would say pending financing, and nobody was doing anything, going anywhere. Right. So this is much better.
Yes, and it was interesting when, and yes, space questions allowed, when, Bob and Doug went up with SpaceX, right? I had so many of my friends that were like, I'm so nervous. I remember the shuttles, they were just, and I had to keep reminding them, I'm like, like I said, these are the safest spacecrafts we have because they can afford to make them that safe.
Well, and their reputation is based on doing it right.
Right. And
I mean, think about it.
Yeah. It's a totally different world than, right, like you were saying, where it's like pending budgets, pending, now that we took that out of just only governments doing it, it's just an awesome new world. And I'm so excited to be a part of it. Is lightning travel possible?
Well, what about even, this is something I learned when I was 8 years old. It's called a wrinkle in space, or the other word is tesseract. In other words, is the shortest distance between 2 points a straight line? What about putting the points together?
Yeah. Sort of the wormhole almost concept, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, biologically, no. Right now, no. No one can beat light. It's not to say that it's not possibly possible, but
Splash Adam has another question. Are wormholes real?
Not that we've discovered yet.
Right.
I don't know.
They're theoretical so far.
Right. Well, and that is, I think one of the things that's so fascinating about math and and physics is that they can predict these things. And then, I love, and it's not the most scientific movie, I will give you that, but Interstellar, they animated that the black hole totally based off of math and theoretics. And then we finally took a picture and it looks strikingly similar. And, they consulted, real science to figure out how to represent that in art, in a movie. And I think that that's amazing. It's just so cool that we can use math in that way. Math is not my strongest suit, but I have a deep appreciation for it. It's incredible. So
tell you what, if any of our audience knows someone who could talk to us intelligently about that, invite them on as a guest. We would love to have someone talk to us about any of this stuff.
Yeah. The heavy level physics stuff is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
is it possible to decode dark matter in the future? I have to do a little bit more research. I'm going to be honest with dark matter and dark energy. I know that with certain recent discoveries, there is a lot of question about what we know about particle physics now. And I live actually pretty close to Fermilab, which,
cool.
yeah, and again, this is like big level stuff that I even have to have people like water it down. So I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? But basically it was like, we thought things should react this way when we do something to it, and they didn't, which means there's probably stuff still that we don't even know what it is and exists. And I know that goes into play with dark matter and dark energy, that we might not know anything anymore now, right? You know,
exactly.
Like, so
that's the beauty of science. I mean, once upon a time, everyone thought, well, it all revolves around the Earth. And then we saw, Jupiter, the moons of Jupiter revolve around Jupiter, and it changes the world. Any new discoveries, because you can do it 1,000 times and it can be the same. And then the 1,001th time, it's not, that's it, you're done. You're wrong. You've just proven it wrong.
Yes. I would have to say, considering the background that I came from too, the I don't know is one of the most exciting and liberating things to me.
Absolutely.
The fact that there is room for questions and just simply not knowing is amazing. And it's very different than what I was conditioned into. So, I love, and that's one of the things I think that's so fun about being a communicator with kids too now, is that it's okay to say, I don't know. And, it's okay to be like, that's a great question. We have this awesome thing called the internet that we can now look things up. And
let's see if we can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I can definitely help you with exoplanets, though. How are exoplanets detected and discovered? What are effective ways to know what they're made of? So they're discovered and detected basically, I mean, the couple of different ways, but when a planet is orbiting around a star, its gravitational pull will tug on that star a little bit and it will wobble. So they look for the wobble. And then they're also looking for, when it passes by, they're looking for that shadow of that planet passing in front of that star.
It's got to be like lined up, right?
Right, exactly. But yeah, the wobble is the big one. And how do they know what it's made out of? That is with spectroscopy, right? Light spectroscopy. So they look at the wavelengths, and then different elements have different wavelengths, and then that color codation is how we can tell what things are made out of. So, and the exoplanet research is that's also phenomenal, because, it was 95, 97, the first one was discovered. I can't remember if it was 1995 or 97, but we thought we were the only solar system with, we assumed there were more, but we just didn't know how to find them. And now, the first one, I'm going to say 95. I think it was 95, but now we're up to 6,000 exoplanets. Yeah.
It's enormous. I'm sure it's changing all the time too.
I'm sure. Yeah, all the time. So, and some of them are, and NASA doesn't really like using this expression, but I'm going to use it. Some of them are in the Goldilocks zone, which is the not too hot, not too cold, right in the right.
Why don't they like that expression? I think it's wonderful.
They don't like it now, I think, because it makes it seem that there's a very narrow window of where life could exist, where now we're in astrobiology, we now know that, we have extremophiles on Earth that are living in acid pools and under the ice. And so there are definitely places it could exist outside of that Goldilocks zone. So I think that they just kind of want to encourage people to think about the possibility of life could exist in lots of places, that we never thought it would. It's been ripped to shreds, but a good example of this would be the paper that was released on the discovery of potentially phosphine on Venus, in the cloud decks of Venus, which, nobody bothered to look at Venus because nothing can live on Venus, right? Nothing can be there. So that's why I think that they're trying to back off of that Goldilocks zone, because they want to encourage people to be like understanding that it could be, in these very extreme environments. And someone asked a question and I totally missed it. I'm so sorry, but
it's about identifying all exoplanets in the observable universe.
No,
we can't even
definitely
see the
can't.
whole universe.
No, and there's lots of what we call rogue planets. There's lots of planets that are just out there without a home star, whether they got ejected or they just formed and never were around a star. There's the universe is a scary place. It's pretty wild how small our little corner of the universe is. And that's something in astrobiology they ask the question a lot about whether we're in like the boonies of the universe, and that's why we don't know where anybody else is. Like, are we just in sort of a more isolated area, and maybe there's a metropolitan area somewhere else? We don't know. But
all right. Well, I know it's getting late for you, and I think Jeff is fading. Thanks so much for joining us, Splash, and
welcome.
David, and Cliff, and Daniel, and Tex, and who's your friend, Science, actually?
Benjamin.
Benjamin, and Seth was here. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Michael, thank you. And let me see, did I miss anybody? I want to shout out to everyone I possibly can. Tracy, yay, Tracy! Tracy's wonderful. And I think I got everybody. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great evening, folks.
Get better, Jeff.
We will check the comments afterwards as well, because I know sometimes people come up with things after a talk.
Absolutely.
And so thanks so much, Sarah. We're looking forward to talking to you in the future and helping promote your programs.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh, don't forget Dave.
Dave.
You forgot to mention Dave.
Dave. We love you, David.
And Dave.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Bye.